I hate you and everything you stand for.
Hi, and welcome to Speaking from the Center.
God damn it, Tim.
Are we live?
Yes,
You scumbag.
I know.
Uh,
I know. I'm Tim, sitting in for Keith, who has yet to come back from his.
You're not sitting
He's
in for
dead.
Keith. Keith is gone. He's left. He's never coming back.
He's dead.
He wanted so badly to be a part of this right up until he was.
Right up until I came on as a guest. He's like, no more wrangling. No more. Never again.
No, Aaron, you're not funny enough. That's the problem.
No, I don't
know.
I don't think that's why Keith isn't here anymore. I think Keith's not here anymore because,
He's dead.
he's Keith.
Yeah.
There's that.
So today is May 27th.
None of your business. Honestly.
Thursday.
It's Thursday. Another Thursday.
Oh, yay.
Another Thursday, and we're all here.
Yep.
Again.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Speaking from the Center Live. Today, we're going to be covering flyover country and booger picking Ted Cruz. I know it's Thursday, your favorite day, because we're here and Keith's dead.
Nolan,
How's that for comedy?
Is Thursday your favorite day?
No. Thursday is not my favorite day.
In like a ranking, like where's Thursday in like favorite days?
It's a pretty good day because Thursday means the weekend's coming, right? And means
Thursday.
we're almost there.
Thursday is both one of the best and one of the worst days.
Okay, at what time in the day is it the worst day? Around 8:30?
Yeah, 7. I would say about 7 o'clock. Right when I start working. No, the issue is that hi Jenna. The issue is
Karen.
that I missed Karen's thing. Sorry,
Yours.
Karen.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there it is. Hi, Karen. No, it's great because I can get like Monday to Wednesday and I can kind of zone out through those first 3 days of the week. And like I'll start work on Monday and then bam, it'll be Wednesday. And I'm like, woo. And then it's like, oh, you got one more day. And it's like, oh God. Then I hit this brick wall called Thursday. And I know I have to be on this god-awful podcast.
There you go, folks. The rabbit's out of the bag.
Just want to play with all my little
Rabbits
toys.
out of the cat. There you go. All those wonderful toys.
Now, what's the hat called again, Nolan?
That was a Marine, Tim. He wears a helmet.
Yeah, I know. The other guy, the Australian guy. What's the name of the Australian hat?
You heard me. You heard me say it several times. You know what it is. And I can tell by that sheepish smile going across your face, it's just being a dick.
I don't know. It started with an A, I think.
It did. It's called an akubra. Don't ask me how to spell it because I don't know how. I don't know how to spell most normal words. So
it's spelled Kubra.
There you go. Yeah, that's what the Australian one is called. There are other words for hats with the stupid brim turned up on the side. But
fedora.
I think hardy hat is another one for it.
Hardy hat.
Hardy hat. You know when the fireworks go off in your hands. You know, guns.
We're doing good today.
We are. It's going great.
It's going great. This show's going
great. I'm making sure you like your politics.
It's going great at Speaking from the Center. So let's talk about don't start putting Axis and Allies tokens up there.
It may have ultimately been a mistake to do this in the basement tonight. But my office, I don't have central air at home, and my office is just too damn hot.
Swamped.
So I am down here in the basement where it is nice and cool. And I just so happen to have an Axis and Allies game set up. So there are all these little pieces for me to pick up and play with.
So do we want to talk about Kremlin Cruz first, or do we want to talk about
No, let's talk about You know what? Yes.
What?
Let's talk about Kremlin Cruz first, because both of these topics can be linked, and I will link them.
Well, you are Lord Links, so if anybody was going to do it.
Okay, so Yes, Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. Let's
Let's get that out of the way.
Let's get out of the way right
look,
now.
you know what? Seeing as how he's in whatchamacallit from Senator from Texas, and he has a role to play or has a part of the blame to share for what happened during the terrible winter storm down there. He is one of the most prolific serial killers of all time.
Oof.
There we go.
He's good at picking his mark.
Think about how many people died as a result of the mismanagement of the Texas power grid, which is
Here we are.
Directly Ted Cruz's fault. Therefore, he is the most prolific serial killer ever, because those people all count as one of the Zodiac killer's victims now. Hot take.
Hot take that 10 is going to laugh at, and I'm just going to grimace at. Oh yeah.
Like it's a joke, but only kind of.
It's a joke, but the best jokes are rooted in truth.
Oh yeah, and he's totally the Zodiac killer. Someone prove me wrong.
It's not how theories work, but okay.
What's the meme with that guy sitting at the table saying whatever, prove me wrong?
Oh yeah.
Steve Crowder, Steve Demonetized Crowder.
Yeah, there we go.
It's just jokes, man.
Ted Cruz is a serial killer. Change my mind.
Yeah, exactly. Change my mind. Convince me he's not. Anyway, he said some things about the military and how apparently Joe Biden is feminizing the army, the military, and how the Russian military is superior.
Super masculine. The U.S. Army or military is going woke and broke.
Well, that's what happens when you go woke. You go broke.
You go broke.
That's what they say.
That's why they rhyme.
Yes. Do you not hear the rhyme?
I mean, for all the talk of cancel culture, I ain't seen a lot of woke people with fortunes. So
true.
I see a lot of pragmatic people making money. People who learn how to monetize it for their own benefit.
That is, you say pragmatic. You're saying that word, which does not have a negative connotation assigned to it yet. You mean, listen, yes, there are people who follow the money, all right? And then there are certain things that people do to get that money by saying the most cockamamie, ridiculous things that strike at the heart of all ignorant people who might just be willing to part with dollars for them. Anyway.
Yeah, it's called televangelism.
You can call it, there's a sinister streak to that pragmatism.
Who was that? What was the name of that pastor that we ripped up last week?
No, we're not going back to that. I don't want to. That was that was awful. That's why I believe, and Jenna, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's why she stopped watching.
Oh God, I forgot about him. I purged him from my mind.
She was like, I can't do this again. I'm out, and she left. And it's like, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, no, we won't relive that. But televangelism, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We say from our lofty position in the Northeast where we don't have that kind of thing.
In our ivory tower.
Well, I'm not saying it's an ivory tower. I'm just saying that that's the Midwest's problem, and they like it that way down there. So just leave them to it.
His name suggests that he's a cult member. Yes, he is a cult member.
That sounds like a fake name you'd give if you're trying to avoid the police.
So Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, Russia is way more masculine than us. That's why it's legal to beat your women there.
That's a good place to go with this one, yeah.
No, I'm just saying, that's the absurdity of it,
Well, yeah, Russian culture is a lot more rooted in being
drunk,
drunk, masculine.
That is a country that is dealing with alcoholism on a generational, cross-continental level.
Yeah,
and they're going to have a terrible reckoning one day for that. I mean, they might even be having it now, but it's state-sponsored alcoholism.
Yes.
Could possibly be.
And so yeah, that's what in Ted Cruz's mind, that's what it is to be masculine.
So let's go back in time to the year, I don't know, 2015, when Ted Cruz was still running for president. And it was basically down to him and Trump and that governor from Ohio whose name I forget. Kasich.
Yeah.
And Trump was attacking Cruz for his father possibly being implicated in the assassination of JFK. Do we all remember this?
Yes, we remember this.
I mean, I remember that Trump was against Cruz. I don't remember the specifics. I was drinking pretty heavily back then, and a lot of it was to block things out. So
Trump's suggestion was that Ted Cruz's father helped the Cubans assassinate JFK.
Wasn't JFK a Democrat though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why would Trump have a problem with that?
He doesn't really. He was just trying
He's just tossing mud into the wounds.
Yeah, he was just trying to besmirch Ted Cruz.
Anybody and any he tried to besmirch anybody and everybody any way possible. And your wife's ugly. That one stuck.
Oh yeah, he called his wife ugly. And then Ted Cruz was like, how dare you do these things and say these things and all this. And as soon as Trump won the nomination, Ted Cruz was one of the first people making phone calls for him.
Fall in line.
Yeah, it's what the Republicans do. They're very good at that. Yeah. They'll tear, unlike the Democrats, the Republicans will also tear themselves to pieces. But then when the fighting over, go, all right, everybody fall in line. We got to beat the Dems. Yep. We got to stop them communist Democrats from liberalizing and socializing everything before they cause a famine and make CEOs and big business pay their fair share.
Well, if you go back even further, Ted Cruz was one of the original waves of the Tea Party conservatives that came in 2010, 2012.
Oh, really? He's only been in for that long?
Yeah, he hasn't served that long for.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, let me fact check myself, but I think he's only been senator for maybe 2 terms.
How long is one of their terms?
6 years.
Nice.
Because he had his re-election against Beto O'Rourke, and he lost, and Beto O'Rourke lost that one.
You are the only person who remembers that name.
I know, right?
You know what? When I was working at the Quinnipiac poll, I had to say it so many times. Like I remember all of them because I had to save their names hundreds of times.
Oh God!
The saddest thing is you have to say Beto O'Rourke. Hello, Echo.
Let's see.
Echo. It's
not
you.
It's us.
Is it us or is it Tim?
We are the ones who echo, but I don't know if it's probably Tim.
Yeah, if we're echoing, then it's probably here. You know what?
Should I turn my stuff down? Is that better?
Yeah. No.
Okay. No. Yes,
anyway, Beto O'Rourke, terrible name. He messed up too.
Let's see. Ted Cruz has been a senator since
2008.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's relatively new on the job. Like most of those guys have been in there since the 70s.
Sorry, 2012. He won in 2012.
Wow, he's not even been there a full decade yet.
Mm-hmm. And he's already like one of the fucking crazy ones. Remember him reading Green Eggs and Ham in his filibuster?
Oh.
Why are we reliving these terrible moments in American politics? That is his career.
I just want to let everyone know how we got to this point with Ted Cruz, where he is like completely off the rails.
I feel like all we should have to say is he's from Texas.
That too. But like, there's been people from Texas who haven't been like completely batshit insane, or the Zodiac Killer.
Well, the thing is, back to his crazy statement. He's falling into the trap of was it Russian nihilism, where kind of nothing matters and perception is reality, no matter what you make it to be. And that's like he's playing into it, and he's just pretty much setting us up for another wave of hey, the door's open, let's just get in and muddy everything up. And like I said before, our culture won't take to it as well, but we do take on some of the elements of Russian propaganda, what they want to do to us. We take on some of those elements, but it doesn't take hold all the way. And every little bit that they can get, it helps out big time for their agenda.
I think with Cruz, it's the one thing I'll say is this. I think he's falling into Russia's doing well. They're a strong country with strong autocratic tendencies that isn't afraid to stand up to
when strength is all you need.
The whatever is perceived as being the enemy of the day, whether it's us, whether it's their oppression of women, whether it's their oppression of LGBTQ people. Because don't forget, it's still largely illegal to be gay in Russia today.
It's illegal to be against Putin in Russia as well.
Right, and they see that, and he sees that as to Ted Cruz's credit, he's being exactly the kind of simpleton you'd expect him to be.
Yeah.
Because he's seeing all that and he's going, oh, that's strength. That's what we should have.
Lila Posti asks, what do you think of Tulsi Gabbard?
I have no idea who that is.
You don't know who Tulsi Gabbard is?
Not a clue.
She is or was a senator from Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
She ran for president on the Democratic ticket. The past election where Joe Biden won. And she sort of went off the fucking rails too, man. When she was losing, she said some crazy shit.
Listen, is it crazy or is it the truth?
It's crazy.
It was crazy. It wasn't like Marianne Williamson crazy, but it was still crazy.
What was she saying? And why is she relevant now?
She was saying stuff. She was basically saying the same stuff that Ted Cruz is saying. And she's not really relevant now because she lost and she was like one of the first people out. But, she was former military and she was just a war hawk. And the Democrats didn't want to vote for a war hawk.
Well, it worked out so well when they had Hillary Clinton, so. Yeah, no, Moses is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that Tulsi Gabbard is in the wrong political party. That's what I think of Tulsi.
Where do you think she belongs?
With the Republicans.
Really?
Yeah.
What are her policies?
I don't remember most of them. I just remember her military policies, and they sound, very Republican, very war hawkish.
You can have war hawkish Democrats.
Yeah, I know. Hillary Clinton. She was one of the most war hawkish ones ever.
Yeah, some people think that the Clintons are in the wrong political party too.
They're not Republicans, not by any means.
I mean,
they are
Bill
old
was
school,
he's a Southern Democrat. He might as well be a Republican.
No, he's an old school Democrat. He just hasn't gotten online with the wave of progressivism that's taking more of the forefront of the Democratic Party. That's all.
Aaron,
he is what was considered a Democrat 20 years ago.
Is Nolan fuzzy for you too? Is that just me?
Yeah, he's fuzzy. He looks like somebody spit on his camera. The Russians. It's the Russians.
Oh no. No, it's not the Russians. It's the NSA. They've
Putin heard me talking shit.
Yep. Now we're gonna get hacked.
Whatever. What are they gonna do?
I don't know. They can't take any of my money. I ain't got none.
You can't. Yeah. Go ahead, take it all. It's still zero.
Here, have all of my debt.
So to clarify, the person who made the Tulsi Gabbard comment, Lila Posti, is Swedish. Doesn't know much about American politics, but it's one of the things that popped up in his infosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that she is a conservative Democrat. And a lot of her policies towards the military, she wasn't for any of the things that the Republicans were trying to get in the primary. Like she was against the Medicare for all. She was against the forgiving of student debt. Like she had either moderate or conservative views as a Democrat.
Yeah.
She was she was a bit more conservative than Joe Biden.
I wouldn't call. I guess.
I mean, Joe Biden was playing it very safe and middle of the road.
All right, here's going to be
Joe
a new
Biden
term.
was the center of the primary.
Here's
Tulsi
a new
Gabbard
term
was a
for
little
you.
bit to the right.
You ready for this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Slow-gressive. It's people who are progressive, but very, very slow in their actions. Because the Progressive Party obviously has been pushing. I mean, the Progressive Party is not even that far left. But we have such a problem here in this country where everything is kind of on the extremes that any extreme looks too extreme. But progressives, they are kind of like the old school idea of a Democrat. Like, hey, we'll do things in the public interest, sort of. It'll be cool, sort of. But we'll get there eventually. I would say that there are a lot of things in play, but everything is about messaging. When you get really effective Democrats like the Clintons are very effective. It's because they know how to take advantage of all the gaps in the room, all the little vacuums of space, and they know how to get their things done. And the Democrats in general, they're just not as effective as a unified body anytime and every time they try to get together. And they try to find their pacing. So the progressives will say something and then people will be like, you're ruining this. And the slow progressives will make promises and not really follow through, but give a little here, give a little there. That's
a pretty nominal term. I like it.
Yeah.
Thanks. It makes sense because.
Now, hold on. I didn't say that. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, that's just how this freaking country works right now. It's just a damn shame that we have people like, Ted Cruz and what's her name? The lady who, I'm not going to call her crazy, but the lady who's got some very eccentric ideas and practices.
Taylor Greene.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think.
Marjorie Taylor QAnon spaceship Green.
And that's when you get things like this. You get the progressives and then you get the freaking QAnoners who are like freedom fighters against the invisible eye.
They are fighting against the aliens who are secretly running the government. Sorry, lizard people who are secretly running the government.
Yes,
and
ancient people.
And living forever by feasting off the adrenal glands of sexually abused children that are funneled through a pizza place owned by the Clintons in Washington, D.C. I did it all in one breath.
All in one breath. That's amazing. Listen, all right, there is a thing to be said about people kidnapping children and eating them. But,
But enough about your weekend plans.
No, not my weekend plans. Listen, all right, a lot of kids go missing all over the world, and it's the scariest thing in the freaking world if you look into it. This is before the QAnon movement. This is probably what sparked the QAnon movement.
Tim, stop smiling.
Jesus Christ, Tim. I'm talking about this serious problem of children being abducted all over the world and just being.
He spaced out. He just spaced out for a second.
Karen, I appreciate your comments.
And he was smiling.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Oh.
And then Aaron started talking about the abduction and kidnapping of children, and Tim hadn't zoned back in yet.
No, he had not.
I didn't.
He was smiling.
He was gone.
I had a rough 4 hours, so I may space out every now and then.
Oh, perfect. That's a good reason to laugh about children being abducted.
He's like, how many children go missing in this country, and it's terrible. And my face kind of went from, we were laughing, oh, this is serious. And Tim was just like,
Tim drove off the cliff.
You could just hear the static behind his eyes. Just
there was nothing going on.
Just a blank stare and a loose smile on his face while Aaron's talking about children being kidnapped.
Yep. That's how we roll.
Am I here?
I think your video's frozen.
Sure is.
So I will retract what I said about Tulsi Gabbard. Her political views are mixed. She is liberal on some things and conservative on others.
Why does that matter? She's not relevant politically.
I know. I just wanted to correct myself because I don't want to be that guy.
I appreciate you not being that guy.
Her conservative stances are on the military and guns. She has mixed things when it comes to Medicare and universal health care. She doesn't like nuclear power plants.
Well, those are scary. They have nuclear stuff in them. They're full of all sorts of dangerous nuclear bric-a-brac.
If you're military, you're probably thinking about, well, they are prime targets for anybody if they do land assault crap.
She's pro legalization of marijuana.
What, like D-Day? Like, are the Russians just going to show up in a bunch of landing craft and invade and attack a nuclear power plant? Come on.
I mean,
yeah,
isn't that the plot to a video game?
Yes, a very dumb video game.
No. What happens is the Russians set off a nuke in low orbit over America to cause a massive EMP that destroys.
Was that Homefront? I forget.
No, that was Modern Warfare 2, which is actually a good game. Thank you very much.
Which one is the one where the Russians invade through New York City?
That's Modern Warfare 2.
When the Russians are in New York, that's Modern Warfare 3. But Modern Warfare 2 is when they invade through the West Coast and using an EMP to black out America.
Number 2, you're fighting them in the White House.
Yeah, that was the coolest missions. I swear to God, any of the Marine or Ranger missions you got in the Call of Duty games are so good. The SAS was so boring, but
Well, they're British, so what do you expect? Yeah. One of their guys is named Soap.
Yeah.
And the other guy had facial hair that would have been appropriate for a British officer circa like 1896. So
the funny thing is they just anachronized that freaking person because he was in Call of Duty 2.
Yeah, that's right, he was.
And then he magically showed up in Call of Duty 4. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? But I guess it's a video game.
All right, so let's move away from Ted Cruz then.
Yeah, is that what we were even talking about? We're clearly very focused today.
Super focused. I mean, I'm all there. We lost Aaron, but he'll be back. I think he's got a poor video connection.
Yeah.
Or his camera stopped working.
He's gone, Tim. He left us like Keith.
Like Keith. At least he didn't get up and walk away in the middle of the show and not tell anyone where he was going.
Hey, he cut his camera feed. We have no idea what he's just done.
Thanks. I'm back and I'm hot. Hot. Don't you agree? I'm going to fix this light. Anywho, Ted Cruz, damn it. Why are you doing this to us? Listen, it gets clicks, it gets money. It gives this, all of these politics actually give me hope.
Well,
they all give me hope that I can run for office successfully just by being a guy who could speak well.
No. Well, I was about to say,
you've been on this show. You'll have no political future.
No.
Why? No.
Because I smiled when you said that they were kidnapping children.
Yeah, children get kidnapped all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. So Ted Cruz he wants to run for president again. That's what all this is about.
Of course.
He's trying to make himself the next Trump or whatever he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to go well for him.
I'll be right back. I'm going to mute myself.
And now, back to the show.
I have separation anxiety now.
Oh, that's it. He's dead. He's gone forever.
He walked away just like Keith did.
Just like Keith did. He's never coming back.
Oh, no.
It's happened again.
Why does everyone have to leave me?
Because they don't like you, Tim.
No. I just want to be friends.
Yeah, but the best you're going to get here is me, buddy. I'm sorry. I'm as disappointed about it as you are.
Oh, why do they all just leave?
Well, there are a number of reasons, but that's neither here nor there. You have to talk to your therapist about it.
She left me too.
Yeah, well, I can understand why. You say a lot of crazy shit, man. I wonder, there's part of me that wonders this whole thing with Ted Cruz and the Russians. I look at the way American politics is going, and there's part of me, and you hear about the Russian meddling, and their bots are all over Facebook, and they're clandestinely funding these things. I wonder if this is them getting back at us for causing the Soviet Union to collapse. They were like from 1990 to like 2010, their country was a shithole of just corruption and crime and drug abuse. Like the Yeltsin years were not good times for Russia.
They were not.
And I wonder if after going through that, Putin was like, we're going to put ourselves back together and then we're going to bring America to its knees so they can know what this feels like. Because the Russians will do one thing, and that is hold a grudge.
They won't hold a grudge.
Have you never heard of history involving the Russians? You know how many wars they fought with the Turks? There were at least 7 or 8. And that's not even counting like World War I. Like just before that, they would fight the Turks regularly for slights against Russia that date back centuries.
Dude, oh man, that is like most freaking old school wars were the most petty things that led to mass death.
Yeah, but the Russians are really good at that.
Yeah, if there's two people that are like really good at like war for spite, it's the Russians and the British. Like the British will go to war over basically anything, and so will the Russians. If they feel that they were slighted by you, they will. That's what they did to the Nazis.
No, the Nazis invaded their country and killed 20 million people. That's a little bit different.
That's true.
That's why they stayed in Germany for 50 years after the war, though. That was the spite.
They were like, Germany, you can't be trusted.
You killed
it hasn't been 100 years. It hasn't been 100 years. You can't be trusted.
Tim smiles too much. I am getting uncomfortable. At the sound of grim news, Tim just keeps on smiling, boys.
Listen. I almost passed out a few hours ago. It'll be fine.
That's my theory. My theory is Russia is meddling in U.S. politics and helping promote these crazy, destabilizing strong people in America, strong men in American politics, to give us a taste of what we caused them after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, but like, why don't they go after someone like smarter? Like Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are just
right. They're the destabilizing element. Who better than them? And look at how effective they've been.
Biggest true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of destabilizing elements, politicians who don't know what the hell they're doing or working in the short term, look at this next section we have coming up. Hit us with it.
Bam. Tim Ryan.
He looks good.
House member from Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio's not a real place.
I know. I keep telling people that, but nobody believes me.
I mean, I've driven through it 3 or 4 times. But
it has a show with Drew Barrymore? Drew
Carey?
Drew Barrymore?
Are you talking about the Drew Carey show?
Drew Carey? Yeah, Drew Carey. Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, no, that checks out. I was going to say, don't you mean Parks and Recs? But that's Indiana. Ohio and Indiana, they're not like real.
It's the middle of the country. If it's not a coast, it doesn't matter.
It's Midwestia. That's what it all is.
Midwestia. Let's play some of this guy.
Bless you. Can you speed it up for the sake of the audience so we can get more information in like a small amount of time? No, don't do 2x, like 1.5 it.
What? You mean going to be able to hear it?
Yeah. Oh well.
You didn't fix it yet?
No, I fixed it. We tested it with Nolan. He could hear it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I gotta click. I tried to click on this screen. I gotta click on the other one.
You're hurting.
There we go.
Oh.
5 or 6 times the amount of that in our community. Seat manufacturer, logistics company, trucking, and all the rest. Many communities in the last week have been dealt a pretty bad hand. And I think this speaks, Mr. Speaker, to the...
Tim, you muted it.
Why? Tim?
Oh, sorry. That was my bad.
Are you really apologizing?
From the taxpayers in the United States many years later, last year they got $157 million in a tax cut that we were told was going to be spent for workers and factories and jobs in the heartland, and turn around and cut 14,000 jobs, and their stock price goes up 6%. That is a broken economic system that we have in the United States of America. And we need an industrial policy in this country where the government, the agencies, the departments, the tax code, the investments in infrastructure and education are all moving in the same direction that will create manufacturing jobs here in the United States.
Well, pause it.
We have to have policies.
I pause.
So this is how you do this. This is how you complain, right? He's complaining about promises for jobs and tax cuts that occurred during the Trump administration, which he basically knew were lies then, but he waits until the Dems are in power to actually vocally complain about it.
Smart.
Right? No, because he knew the Trump thing was going to get him nowhere, so he waited until his guys were in power. Then he makes a fuss about it. Very smart.
Because he sounds like a disenfranchised American, which is the number one ticket to getting in with most people across barriers.
Well, and also he also ran for president in 2020 in the Democratic primary. And
Tim,
he's probably
everybody in the Democratic Party ran for president at one point.
I know there was like what, 50 of them?
I don't know. That's why when you're like, what do you think
fiesta.
What do you think of Tallulah, whatever the hell her name was? Yo, she ran for president.
Tulsi Gabbard.
Who the hell didn't run for president in 2020?
I'm gonna let it.
That move venture capital out of the three main states, California, New York, and Massachusetts, which is 80% of all venture capital. I'm not sure, Mr. Speaker, that the people on Wall Street or the people in the high-tech centers of our country fully appreciate what is happening in communities all over the United States of America. They're being hollowed out, disinvested in. And we need this government to begin to modernize itself, to look at the world as it is, to recognize that globalization may yield great benefits and great wealth, but that those benefits aren't shared everywhere in the United States of America. They're not shared in the industrial Midwest. Wages have been stagnant for 30 years. People work hard, play by the rules, and still get to their retirement and they lose their pension or their pension's cut in half. This is not working. This is not working, Mr. Speaker. And the American people are fed up. How much can the worker take? How much can their families take? Year in and year out.
How much before I get reelected?
Nope.
And people who have money continue to make money. The top 1% continue to do well. And I don't hate anybody because they're rich. But my goodness gracious, when everyone else is suffering, when Ohio and Michigan, Indiana, Western Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Minnesota, these communities that have done so much for so long, whether there's a war or manufacturing, it's been these communities who have responded. And now they've been cut loose, and the stock price goes up. It is time for us to reclaim the American dream for these communities and these workers who have done nothing wrong.
All right, so let's
it gets better towards the end, but
let's chat about this part for a minute though.
Which part? About he actually did the right thing about hitting all these flyover states and then praising them with patriotism. And he was flailing that freaking Clinton fist around. It's not this. It's not this. It's this.
It's the thumb.
Well, that's
Yes,
so
but
you
he's
don't
holding it
point.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pointing is
That's-
bad.
pointing is
Open-handed
bad.
for customer service.
Close it up, put the finger there, and you can keep from wagging your finger in people's faces.
This is doable if you're really good at talking. Open like these hands are kind of doable. Like I had so what I did politics class, they talked to us about how you hold your hands and how it affects your message. So
I don't know
this
what
is
to
too
do with
much.
my hands.
Yeah, that's the big thing in acting too. People don't know what to do with their hands.
Guess
Yeah,
I'll just let them hang on the side there. Hope they're there when I need them.
yeah.
So his whole gripe here is that the General Motors laid off a bunch of employees in his district, and he's blaming California, Massachusetts, and New York for hoarding all the wealth. And California is
it's only a part of the picture that he's blaming for.
Well, I mean, he's saying that most of the wealth is concentrated in those states.
Yeah.
Well, those states also happen to be the least federally dependent, so maybe Ohio should step the hell up.
He's not wrong, because California has the world's 6th largest economy.
Because they have all the ports on the Pacific coast. How dare California make a bunch of money by being in a good geographic location? They should deliberately move themselves inland, like Ohio, which doesn't have any ports unless the Great Lakes count.
Yeah, the moving venture capital from those areas is going to be impossible. But incentivizing it is going to be something else. And the big problem is it's not the venture capital concentrated in those locations. He's only complaining about the disconnect from those societies to his society, because all the investors are all over the place, and they can be concentrated in places of wealth. The investors that so desperately want to see that ticker go up when they lay people off, that's a lot of human labor. That's a lot of human capital that's just being cut loose. And that's like one of the biggest parts of any company is paying people, the insurance to have them there, all the pensions that you have to manage, all the freaking back ends, on top of their salaries, wages, or anything else that you have going on, any type of issue, overtime. All of these things cost the company so much money, and getting rid of them means your profits immediately are going to go up. Immediate profits are going to go up because all of those people created all of this product that's in the market, and when they sell, they're going to sell it at that price or whatever was going on with those people in the factory. But you get rid of those people, it goes way up. It's great. It's wonderful. It's a cool little trick. Hey, thanks for all that work. Get out of here.
Well, he's not wrong about the economies of those states being hollowed out over the last 30 or 40 years, because that's where the auto industry was. That's where the steel mills were. That's where,
1,600 layoffs is baby numbers compared to what they used to be. Laying off 40,000 people here, 60,000, 70,000 back in the early 2000s.
That's because, as time marches on, the economy and its needs change. And the problem was we've never, as a nation, thought about reinvesting and adapting these workers to work in other industries or to build new industries that are related to this stuff.
I have to interject like a spear from a damn mountaintop, because yes, it's true that the markets do change and adjust and they grow, right? But a lot of this stuff was contrived by people who knew how to cut the cake, more like border drawings. And now we have the country and economy as it is. So yes, we do have to learn to adjust, grow, and accommodate. But
the robots are taking all your jobs.
No, the onset of this problem is because people thought, how am I going to make more money right now, as opposed to letting the market naturally do what it does, unless you want to argue that these people are natural market forces.
Well, no, but things like the automation of the industry that we saw coming decades ago, and we did nothing to prepare this workforce and this part of the country to adapt to less requirement for human labor.
But what hurt us more? The outsourcing to actual cheaper human labor. It wasn't the machine revolution. It was the cheap labor revolution, the globalization revolution, where people were able to go to, hey, let's go to India. Hey, let's go to China. Hey, let's go to Mexico. Hey, let's go somewhere else.
I mean, the Mexico thing, you're absolutely right on, but that was NAFTA, man.
well, the NAFTA was Mexico, but there was a couple of other policies and deals that got us going to China and India and all those other like outlying countries out there that'll do money for like do the work of a person getting paid $25 an hour in the year 2000. They'll do it for 35 cents American.
Well, once China figured out how to make like good steel, that was a game changer for like a global market economy, because American steel was a lot more expensive. And that's what happened to a lot of different places in the economy, because after World War II, let's just talk about the automotive industry. After World War II, America was basically the only player left standing in the automotive industry.
We were the only one left standing in a lot of terms industrially. Everyone else had to put themselves back together after the war.
Yeah. And once, Germany and Japan and Italy got their automotive industries back going, American cars were at that point made inferiorly to the German and Japanese.
Well, they were made to make money. They were made to support the economy.
So
and
a lot of
jobs
were lost because people weren't buying as many American cars.
Yep, get wrecked.
Yeah, and we got wrecked for a long time.
That part of that is just the nature of a global economy, but the bigger issue is again the lack of
preparedness.
The lack of doing anything.
There's a lack of preparedness at all times. Like when Toyota was making really good cars, they wrecked America. And
but you know what the worst part is? Toyota offered to work with us, to show us how to do it, how they were doing it. And they tried to implement it in America, and it ended in disaster.
It wasn't making money.
Money. The factory was in chaos. They flew people from Detroit over to Japan back in the 80s to show American manufacturers, not just the CEOs and the plant managers, but the floor workers, how the Japanese were doing it. And they set up a test plant in California, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. The minute the Japanese were like, here you go, good luck, hope you work it out. And there was like, all right, America, it's up to you.
The American mentality was so messed up.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right.
Because they were so used to making cars that had like expiration dates on them, because it was like hand washing. They immediately fed the car repair people who were certified by these companies. You go right to the car shop. You got yourself a Buick, you got yourself a Cadillac. They got the big bodies. The big Regal bodies. They knew exactly how to fix them. Easy to fix, but it's just a cyclical market. You buy the car, you get it fixed. You buy the car, you get it fixed, and you always have to have a car that breaks so it gets fixed.
That was part of it. The other part was just how labor is handled in America and what labor and management relations are. Like in Japan, it's very different. When they were making cars, it was everything's compartmentalized. Everything you need is immediately around. You can put different parts of the car together separately, and then like Voltron, send it to the one central plant where it actually gets put together. And there are people who are working in these different jobs, and there's a cord that they can use to stop production if they see there's a problem.
Yeah.
They offered this format to America, and it just went to hell. Because the laborers were like, oh, hold on, I see a fault, let me pull it. And plant managers would come out and yell at them for slowing down production and not meeting quotas, so they'd cut the
line
cord.
Doesn't stop.
Yeah,
so that is a classic saying.
That's the Henry Ford model of mass production, is that the line doesn't stop.
But we're getting paddled by the Japanese in car production. The Japanese go, well, here's how we do it. Here, try it out. And America went, ha-ha, bam, and shot itself in the foot.
Well, that's also another thing about it not being prepared, because as another thing that entered the market is, well, if you have a market built around breakdown and repair, and it's a cyclical market, what happens when something doesn't feed into that market? Well, we were trying to avoid that. Like one of my my auto technician who used to like work on all my cars, right? He's retired now, but he knows a lot about car manufacturing history and a lot about like the people that made really good cars or people that had really good ideas get snuffed out by the big three. He's like, never go against the big three because you'll be dead like that. He's old. He's a really old guy, And he saw all of these different trends with cars and all these different things. Like, he taught me a thing or two. It's pretty cool. But, you know, it's just crazy how the powers that be want to keep things the way they are because they're going to make money. And that's why this Democratic representative, senator,
he's a rep. He's
a rep. He you know, he's railing against this system that's set up to make money, and it's not going to listen because it's pushed itself much further into making money, regardless of what needs to change. But what has changed is what they have done to make more money. The system is not prepared, but these people who govern the system are prepared. We need to be ready for automation. We needed to be ready for the outsourcing to cheap labor. We needed to be ready to have quality products enter our market and break up our cyclical repair, our cyclical freaking cycles of you buy the car.
Well, I mean, yeah, Americans
you buy the next year.
Very accustomed to disposable products. Like our phones, like my phone just shit the bed.
No, I mean,
phones are criminally expensive, but that's another.
I mean,
we're used to replacing things that are broke, but you talked to the generation before us, then it wasn't like, oh, it broke, get a new one. It was, oh, it broke. Like Aaron was saying, call the repairman because we can't afford a new one.
Yeah.
So they held on and were much more, careful with these things.
They were used to things breaking, though.
Yeah, they were used to things breaking, but then you called somebody to get it fixed. You didn't just get a new one.
And now we got the full cycle of it breaks, you're fucked because your repair guy's like, I'm not allowed to work on this car. Or, there's like they built this car and I can't do it. I just can't.
Actually, let me tell you a story because the other day the hot water heater tank on my food truck broke. Like the tank cracked. So I have to replace the hot water heater. And it's an RV hot water heater. So it's pretty common if you go to like an RV shop or something like that. But no one who owns an RV repair shop will touch my food truck. They'd be like, no, I only fix RVs. Or I only do this or I only do that. Like I've talked to several plumbers and several other people who are like, that's not what I do. And it's a very interchangeable part that if you knew how to do it for something like, say, an RV, you could probably do it for the food truck too. But people are so like, I don't want to touch this. It's not my area of thing.
And insurance will kill them too.
Yeah, if they mess it up.
Insurance is the big bad of the world of the modern era. But
it is very hard, and I've learned this with the food truck. It's very hard to find someone who will do custom work. That's not like just it's for this specific car. It's for this specific thing. Like no one will do a custom job like that because either they don't want to take on the risk or they weren't trained that way.
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of it is. It's we're so focused. They're so focused. It's either you're so specialized that you can't take the risk because if he does it and screws it up, he's liable to you.
Yeah.
And then when, what he does is no longer relevant, now that guy's out of work.
Yeah.
When they make it so that you can or you don't have that part or it doesn't work that way, well, he's so specialized that person cannot go and get another job.
Right. Yeah, and that's one of the issues with retraining the workforce.
Well, it wouldn't be, but we invest way too much in our military, and when we should have been doing this in the early 2000s, we had to go fight the war on terror. So,
yeah,
I wonder how that's going. Are we winning
here? I don't know. I don't hear much.
I know we accomplished the mission at one point. I remember the banner, but
I remember the banner too. I remember the party we threw for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
I wonder how that's going because that's something. Aaron, you brought up Jack Ma, I think, in the chat a while earlier.
Yeah, Jack Ma,
and that was something Jack Ma said. He was like, "America, the reason you don't have any jobs is because you didn't retrain your workers when all this change was going on. You were too busy funding wars in Iraq and Afghanistan."
That's exactly when it was happening. When all these changes are going on, we sent all of those jobs out, and then we went to war immediately after. 1 year after, 3 years after we started. All right, so we lost all those jobs in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then we got a war.
And that
And
is
then we got a
and Jack
war.
Ma kind of said, like, that's why you guys don't have a well-trained modern workforce. Instead of funding retraining programs and all the things that you would have needed to, you decided to invade 2 countries in the Middle East for some reason.
That's what I'm talking about, man. These systems are set up to make money. They're not set up to adjust for the people, because the people are being left out in the globalized system. They're going to make their money somewhere, and it's not going to be from you. It's not going to be you work in your town and you're going to put your money back in your town. That's still a cyclical thing. No, it's that we are going to make money somehow, somewhere. We got the research to do it. All right. And nuts to butts to you guys. I have no idea what you're going to do, but obviously money comes from someplace. Dude, I've dealt with people who are wealthy, right? And they treat money like the weirdest. They treat money in the most weird way ever. It's like when you don't have money to pay a fine, or you don't have money to pay something left against you. Like, what do you mean? Just pay the fine. Just pay it.
Yeah.
But I don't have the money. What do you mean you don't have money? There is money out there. Pay the fine.
Go get it.
Yeah. Go. Why don't you just pay the bill or pay the fine?
It's like they have money as a resource in their life that is a checks and balances against, I did good, I did bad, but they always have it.
Yeah.
And they never think about their life without it. They don't live a life. They think about people who are poor or may not have money. They think about them as like less than, because they don't quite exist in their world. It's like, what do you mean you don't have money? You should just have money. Simple as that. Obviously, there's something wrong with you.
Let's let Tim Ryan finish his little. We only got a few minutes left on this.
They support the Little League. They sit on the boards of the booster clubs. They coach football. They've done everything right. Everything our society would ask of them, they have done. And they get cut loose.
Rip.
And now we live in communities that have blight. They don't have broadband. They don't have investment. And some people will say, just cut taxes for the wealthiest people, and all that wealth will trickle right down to the Lordstowns and the Youngstowns and the Gary Indianas of the world.
Oh, bad move, man. You're from Ohio.
Trying this for 40 years. Since 1980, the supply side economic policy has been pushed in this country. And if it's so damn good, why isn't it working for working class people? That's what I want to know. If this economic philosophy is so great, why does the worker in Lordstown get screwed and the stock price for the company goes up 6%? Why does the CEO of these companies get 350 times the amount of money that the worker on the factory floor gets? Does that seem fair to anybody?
Seems fair to me.
People work hard, play by the rules, can't get health care. People out working hard, pension gets squeezed, kid gets sick, can't afford it, got to go to the emergency room. Opiate epidemic. Try to work hard and go to college, end up 30,000 in debt, 40,000 in debt.
Woo, sing it.
50,000 in debt.
The systems are broken in the United States, Mr. Speaker. And it is our job here in Washington, D.C. to remember these families who have done everything right. That's our commitment. That's our responsibility, is to fix this broken system. There's been a lot of promises made over the last few years for these communities, and things are moving in the wrong direction, and it's our obligation to fix it. I yield back the balance of my time.
See, he hits the heart right there on the end. You go ahead.
Take that, Chuck Schumer.
So the end bit where he says that a lot of promises were made, and that that stuff's moving in the wrong direction. Is that a knock on Trump, or is that a knock on Biden?
That's a knock on the system. I think he's more so fighting on he's fighting it. So if you want to run for president, right, you got to have a target that's not a person, but rather an idea that you can pick at. Trump didn't fight against people; he fought against an idea that you can pick at. When you add that to people, that's when you turn into Hitler. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to assign a problem to a certain person. You want to assign it to a system.
That's bad.
Yeah, he's not mad at rich people, but he's mad at the system that allows for this and encourages this.
I like that he made a point to saying that he's like specifically not angry at rich people for being rich. He just wants to know why,
to keep the Republicans in line.
Well,
why they're fucking over everybody else.
He has to say, I'm not angry at rich people, because his words will just be taken to mean, oh, there's another one of them socialists who wants to take rich people's money away.
Yep. You don't want that. He wants to appear hoaxy, folksy, middle American. These are basic brass tacks values, and
in his campaign for president, he tried to be the truth teller. Like, he would be the one in the debates who would like try to give the straightest answer.
Mm-hmm.
Or try to be like, this is what's really going on, and in Youngstown, Ohio, this is happening. Like, no one else was from Ohio. Everyone else was from California and Massachusetts, and Joe Biden's from Delaware, but that's not really a state.
Pennsylvania.
Dude,
tickle me, Biden.
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
West Side, Pennsylvania is so crazy. Like, Pennsylvania is cool. It's like there's some parts of Pennsylvania that are like a polite Connecticut, where people are like non-regional, kind of down to earth, but just nice. And you're like, okay,
yeah,
I'll take it.
I got buddies from Pittsburgh, and we go out to this. Yeah, we go out to this diner out, not quite all the way out to Pittsburgh, but like we'd be out there, and like a bunch of us be out there from Connecticut. And then the waitress would come over and it'd be like, howdy guys, how y'all doing today? And we're just like, we're good. Go get us coffee, you server. Get out of here. And he'd stop and he'd be like, hey, how are you? Yeah, we were just out camp. And he'd talk to her. And it's like, I forget that you guys aren't from this part of the country sometimes.
Yeah, it's crazy. I made friends with a waitress like way back in like 20. Was it 20? How
old are your kids?
Way back in the day, right? Huh?
Nothing.
No, she was just super nice and super polite and conversational. Yeah. Oh, you're not from here, yada yada. We talked about hair. We talked about all types of stuff, and I'm like, God damn, okay, I like it. I like these kind of people.
Yeah. That's also how that's how people in Texas are as well. But they have like a sinister undertone of they really just don't like you.
Yeah,
like they are very nice and very conversational to your face, but
they don't like you.
They're also very don't mess with Texas. You're an outsider. Go away.
They're okay. So here's a funny thing for you, right? My friend who moved out there, who is Hispanic, but they didn't think it was Hispanic, but when they found out his name was a Hispanic sounding name, they go, oh. Okay.
That's awful.
His boss said, I don't like that name. I'm gonna call you Chuck. And I was like, but I don't like that name, but I like you. I'm gonna call you Chuck.
Oh my god. I like you.
Keep in the heart of Texas.
I'm gonna call you Chuck.
I'm gonna call you Chuck.
Yeah, but I mean, the Carolinas are actually pretty nice. Yeah, well, in my experience, listen, some parts of the Carolinas, okay?
Texans don't like outsiders.
I mean, they're planning to secede one day, so they got to have their borders drawn.
Just generally don't go below the Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah,
it's a general rule of thumb I have.
They're not good states down there.
Connecticut
No,
needs to
like
come around.
they can be, and there can be places that are nice, but then you take the wrong turn off the interstate, and you're standing out in front of a friggin' Holiday Inn that's flying the Confederate flag, just trying to find a place to stay for the night, and they look at your plates on your cars, and they see Connecticut.
Yankee!
And when you ask for a place, they're like, "Not for you," and it's like, "Get the hell back in the car and get out of here."
So there is a place like that in Connecticut, and let me tell you, it's called Branford. And so I was going to the Branford Police Department today to get my vendor's permit for the food truck. And I passed not one house, but a group of houses on a street that were flying homemade Trump signs and flags. And they must have all done this together. Like they had a big meeting on the street and was like, let's do this. Huge wooden signs that said the 2020 election was stolen, and was it the liberal media has been exposed, and all this other stuff, Trump flags everywhere. And I was like, what the, like, I was shocked by it because it was just a line of houses that all had the same thing. And I didn't think my expectations were too high for coastal Connecticut.
Yeah, well, you went to one of the places in Connecticut where there are, statistically speaking, more deer than people.
Yeah, I forget that once you like leave like the general like New Haven, Bridgeport area, there's really not like anything out there.
No, there isn't. Fairfield and New Haven account for more of the state's population than the rest of the state put together.
Yeah, it's just weird that like once you leave the metropolitan
money
area,
dictates. They're insulated. You know, when you get these isolated places and people just live lives of self-confirmation, they don't really need much to do to branch out.
There we go. Had more cows than people in Branford.
Listen, I drove past a sign in Branford recently that said Trump will be back 2024. Like there's that. I was just like, okay. But you know how sick and tired I am of saying hi, hello, making eye contact and waving at somebody, and they do this. They just bite their lips, look straight, and walk on. Dude, that is like the New England greeting that I get from these people. Then you get freaking, dude. The worst though, I didn't think it was gonna get much worse than that. California is the weirdest shit ever.
Oh my God.
Here's what happens in California. They look at you, they make the eye contact, but they don't engage. They look at you.
So they're just like staring you in the eye and then not saying anything?
They're staring at you, walking by, and you get this cold look of like, what do you want from me? And like, they just keep it moving. And they don't move out of the way. They walk straight into you. And I'm like, hi, hello.
It sounds like they sound like New Yorkers, except New Yorkers don't make the eye contact.
The creepiest thing about California is the first time you walk into a room full of people and they all look and you realize they all have perfectly straight white teeth. Everybody.
Well, let's ask Moses, who is my brother, who lives in California. How white is all the teeth in the Californias?
I was going to say, how white are the white people? Very white.
How white are the white people? I mean, he lives near Sacramento.
I mean, I don't know. They're not selling thousands of dollars of grilled cheeses before coming on the show, so they can't be that white.
Oh, God. Yep, Trumbull Farmers Market.
Where in Trumbull is that? Because I grew up there and I keep trying to figure out where the hell they're doing.
So okay, so if you go down Nichols, and if you keep going down Nichols Ave in Stratford, if you keep going down.
Oh, are you by the Bunny Fountain?
I don't know what that is, but if you keep going down into Trumbull, when it just becomes Trumbull from Stratford.
Yep.
And there's like a fork in the road where there's a church in the center.
There's that weird intersection, yeah.
Yeah. If you take the left fork and then you go down Unity Street.
Okay.
That's where the farmers market is. It's on like a big baseball field.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
So, dude, I got to tell you, I honestly think that Trump.
Not the tweakers with no teeth.
I mean, true.
Yeah,
There is
well, I
that.
try to avoid
California
Skid Row.
has the extremities. All right. California is the global north and the global south all in one, wrapped up together. Ivory towers with, just huts around them. And that's what it's kind of like everywhere else that there's money. But listen, I really think, honestly, here's what's happening now. I honestly think that Trump has a serious hold on the party. And he will, if he stays alive for the next 4 years and has the energy, hopping off that freaking that crazy good meth he's got, rich folk meth, he can probably win. Here's why. There are still rallies for Trump in my area.
In Stratford,
I drove past
too.
one. Mm-hmm. I drove past the rallies in multiple places. There are still Trump signs hanging up. Trump 2020 flags still flying high. Trump 2024 flag still flying high. Nobody galvanizes the people's thirst for like the bloodlust of strongman quite like Trump. And nobody else can probably do it like Trump unless it's somebody who is going to be incredibly charismatic, sharp, and just more, I wouldn't say militaristic, but more direct. Because Trump is like, hey, what's going on? This guy's an idiot. This guy's wife is fat and ugly. That guy over there's got little hands. You don't want small hands. I say, yes, I've seen small hands. These hands, they're not small. They're great hands. These are the most wonderful hands. Look at me. I'm a great guy. I'm the most wonderful guy. He schmoozes, right? He makes you feel good to be around him and be on his team. Hey, you play ball, right? You're playing on my team, aren't you? Good. You're good. You're not one of those guys, are you? No, I didn't think so. You're one of the good ones. He is good. But what you need now is somebody to come in and galvanize that bloodlust that he brought up in people and have them be like, no, this is us and this is what we are going to do. And they'll be like, the second coming. Trump does not talk as an Spaniard in my chat says Trump talks like an average American. He does not. He talks like he has got charisma above the average American.
No,
he talks like the average New Yorker if he was like hit in the head.
No,
he's good at talking.
He talks and uses language and sounds and has a level of intelligence on par with the average American. That is why he is so goddamn popular.
I think he's a goddamn genius.
Because the average American is stupid like him and aggressively so.
He is like the Clintons. The Clintons will take advantage of the vacuum in the room. All the Democrats, they don't know what to do. The Clintons are like, come here, do this. Oh, okay.
All right.
And that's how you take care of these people who are like.
That's the problem. Trump was a terrible person and a terrible president. But part of the reason was he's kind of indicative of what that average middle American is like.
No,
aggressively stupid
because he knows how to work it. He knows how to work these people.
He knows how to flim flam and sell snake oil. That is nothing to be proud of.
And he gets in there though.
He's a fucking
that is a mark. Listen, that is
He's got the small hands to go with it.
You guys cannot be doubting Trump right now because this is what got him into the office. I saw this coming from a mile away. He knows what he's doing. He knows what the frick he's doing.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He is nuts.
There is somebody, his handlers are the people you have to look out for because they're the ones who know how to go, handlers. Hey, let's direct him this way. Let's direct him that way.
You think Ivanka and Garrett
Ivanka and Jared has a very powerful political family. The Kushners are a very powerful political family.
Yes, but he isn't. He is not.
Why do you think he's in charge of so much shit?
Look what happened when everybody abandoned him during the riot and he was left to his own devices. The mask dropped, the full lunacy and out of touchness was revealed, and it wasn't until that calmed down and his handlers could get their fingers back into him and pull him back.
Bush had handlers.
Bush had handlers. His own party was begging for him to stop it. during the insurrection. Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell,
because they can't
were
control
begging
him. He had true power, and that's what people are attracted to.
But he's
The fact that he had
uncontrollable.
Yes,
unless he's around the people that control him.
He is the idea of, I can be that guy. That could be me.
That's bad.
His ideal
it is bad, and that's why I said the next version of Trump is going to be somebody who plays into the bloodlust that he enabled. He was not bloodthirsty, but what he did was give you that folks. Yeah, you talk shit, you probably got to get popped in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Not by me, but maybe he will. Hey, pop that guy in the mouth. He's insulting you. But then you're gonna get somebody who's like, don't fuck with me. I don't play games. And then people will be like, yes. Don't fuck with me. I don't play games. You did it to my boy Trump. You're not going to do it to me this time around.
If you watch the videos that he made asking people to go home, the 2 videos that he made, the one where he called people special and that he loved them, and then the second one where he was told to stop doing that and just tell them to go home, he was clearly in control of what was going on until his handlers said, hey, you're overthrowing the government. Maybe you should stop.
Oh, no, that wasn't a handler's thing. That was a complete optics by the entire party thing. He already did the damage. He is the titty streamer on a freaking kiddie platform. He's like, everybody's just like, oh, I hit puberty just now. Holy God. And Trump is like, I'm skirting the line. He's breaking all the rules. He's like, oh, nobody said I couldn't do this. Oh, nobody said I can't do that. Oh, I did it. And I got what I needed from it. Oh, I was told no. Fuck him. Look at you. You're a clown. I already did it. And then he keeps doing it. And people are like, he keeps hitting those buttons. He keeps doing these powerful things. He's hitting all the right freaking marks. But, every time he gets reined in and told not to.
What are they?
That is the American orgasm.
Oh, okay.
Every time this guy is going out there and doing and living out their wild fantasies of shooting guns and smoking cigars on Nancy Pelosi's desk. All right. He is the wet dream personified for these people who should not be allowed in office at all, ever. But he got there because so many of those people have been created and festered and emboldened by the modern day internet and freaking that decade of reality TV. They are his audience, but they are the average American. And he knows how to make a program for the average American. And let's not talk about his show failing. It's the fact that he was in the business and everybody has all of this information, the algorithm, the research and data. It's all there, and he tapped into so much of it. He doesn't have to be Albert Einstein. What he is, though,
he's carny trash.
Carny trash. I mean, we could talk shit about Hitler too, but he got a lot of shit done.
Trump is. He's a con man. He's like a man. What the fuck is the guy's name? P.T. Barnum. He's a P.T. Barnum.
His grandfather emigrated to this country from Germany. The Kingdom of Bavaria. Germany didn't exist at the time, and he spent his time building his family's fortune, running saloons and brothels, and selling shoddy mining equipment.
Mm-hmm.
To people gold rushing out in California and Colorado and places like that. That is how the Trump family made their money. So ripping people off and getting them to give you a bunch of money for a bullshit bill of goods, it's kind of what they've been doing since they got here.
We have a question from the chat.
Is that the chat?
It's the Facebook chat. In the comments.
Hi, Moses.
Has there been any significant information released about the criminal investigation into Trump yet? No. Last I heard, there was transition from civil to criminal with felony charges that carry a potential lengthy prison sentence. So the last thing I heard, that there was a grand jury being convened to review all the evidence that the Southern District of New York has. That's the last thing that happened. But they did transition from a civil case to a criminal case for the Trump organization, not Trump himself, the Trump organization. They're going to get him on some sort of tax evasion.
No, I don't think they're going to get him.
No, they're going to Al Capone him. They're absolutely going to Al Capone him.
If they were going to get him for anything, it would be something trivial and mundane. Like, You skimmed
Let's
a
put
bunch
money on
off
it.
and put your taxes like this, and that's illegal.
Yeah.
So you're going to jail. And he
Here's
won't serve long, but he'll go
Gentlemen,
for a couple months.
Here's
let's say
exactly
this
what
right
they'll
now.
get him for.
Oh,
Here's
okay.
exactly what they'll get him for. He inflated his assets to get loans, and then he deflated his assets to get tax breaks, and that's tax evasion. So that's what they're going to get him for.
Okay, all right. You think? Here's what's going to happen. All right, nothing's going to get him, and I will put $5. Give
I'll
me
put
that gentleman's
$5.
bet. Put
I got
$5.
$5. I'll throw in $5
that nothing is going to stick on Trump. That's my bet. Nothing will stick on Trump. He is not going to get arrested.
My $5 is that they're going to Capone him and get him on some sort of tax fraud or evasion or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to come from this, but my $5 is on that. Trump will get busted for something stupid, mundane, unrelated, but he will get convicted. Though he may be able to appeal serving anytime, he will have that conviction for a federal thing. He won't serve any time.
Okay.
He'll be convicted, but that conviction will technically make him a felon.
All right. So here's the thing.
And make him ineligible to run again.
Here's the thing. I expect to take you guys out for a nice grilled cheese sandwich after I win my $10. I
hope it's at something better than that crap hole, the melting truck. I hear they have a broken water pump. That place sucks.
Oh no! But no, one of the guys in my chat's like, "I'll bet you $100 he's not going to jail." I'm like, "Get out of here. We don't."
You know what? I'll agree with Nolan.
This is grilled cheese betting money.
We got grilled cheese money, and I'll get a cup of water on the side. All right, that's the way my country's set up. Okay.
You know, I'll agree with Nolan. I don't think he'll ever see prison time, but I do think he'll be convicted of something.
Okay. All right. That's the bet, folks. You hear it now on Speaking from the Center Live. Me on one side, these two lovely gentlemen on the other side. $5 bet. I say Trump is not going to get convicted of anything. They say there will be a conviction, but no jail time.
And let's hope we're wrong. He gets convicted and he gets lengthy jail time.
Well, hopefully we're all wrong. But I honestly think because if I win, that's the worst because that is going to inflate the fuck out of him, and it's going to be a nightmare because you can't put that head back in.
And his kids, like Don Jr.
I don't know how all of his family got into all these positions of power as soon as he came in. I'm like, this is exactly what you didn't want to happen. This is like.
It's cronyism. It's like the most blatant form of cronyism there is.
Cronyism is with friends. Nepotism is with your family.
I mean, he put his friends in places too.
Of course. The Secret Service. Like, people are concerned about Secret Service's loyalty. It's like, obviously, they've been with Trump for the past 4 years. He is a very strong individual who's really good at connecting with people. So, of course, and he doesn't want anybody to be impartial. Hey, what are you doing over there? Why are you looking out the window? Come on, hang out with us. Come on. Don't be a sourpuss. Come on. Sit over here.
Moses says, I bet he goes to prison, but he buys the prison first.
Oh, he's going to, what's his name?
That's a 1800s play.
No, that's Pablo Escobar, man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar. The reason why they have a hippo problem in Colombia now.
So if, Aaron, if you got any questions in your Twitch chat.
Any questions? Let me just put a comment in here from my boy Spaniard.
Yeah.
Spaniard is my resident military conservative.
We'll take a question and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Give me Spaniard. Anybody got questions for my chat? Liliposti, Spaniard, anybody else? Scrubfist, anybody got any ideas?
I mean, if not, we can just wrap up for the night.
Hold on, give it a minute. But I gotta say right now, Karen needs to get her due. Karen, if you want a grilled cheese sandwich, please come join us.
I'll tell you what, if Tim and I win, screw that. I'm buying grilled cheeses for a whole bunch of people. I'm gonna be so happy.
It's a celebration.
We'll just park the truck somewhere and grilled cheeses will flow.
Grilled cheeses just will flow.
I like it. I like it a lot. What are? Oh, okay. Spaniard wants to know. I'll post it in the chat for us.
Our last question for the night.
You have a dude who's called Spaniard.
Bam.
Yeah.
What are Tim and Nolan's political label? As in,
You're the Irishman.
Demo,
liberal,
Liber, Conserve.
All right.
I guess I like Devo. They were pretty good, right?
Yeah,
Crack
Devo
that
was
whip. Do.
They're actually pretty good.
I mean, I'll go first. I'm a Democrat.
Are you?
Nolan, how liberal would you say I am?
Very.
There you go.
Tim is a textbook case of a person being radicalized by the left through attending American higher education.
I'm a college liberal. There you go.
Oh no, I mean, you're part of the generation that got bought into the dream, I believe.
And he's been radicalized to the left by his exposure to America's higher education.
I would also say that we'll have 2 degrees in political science. So yes,
So he'll be unemployed for a long time.
Yes. I'll be unemployed for a long time.
The only one worse was our friend Andy. He got a degree in philosophy.
My brother says I'm lying. I'm a communist.
Not yet, but he's getting there.
You take one Marxism class, and all of a sudden you're a communist.
Andy got a job Andy got a degree in philosophy, so he gets to sit and think long, deep thoughts about being broke.
Yeah. What was it? That you do if you take one class in with Marx, you do become a communist. But then when you start learning about other systems, and then you grow up a little bit, you're like, oh shit. Or if you're really smart, you see Marx and you're like, this would have worked if, and then you see all the reasons why it didn't work. You believe in the idea.
It didn't work for a very simple reason. I like board games, right? Mm-hmm. I play them, I develop them, I design them. Here's what screws up every board game system: the players.
Yeah.
You come up with the best rules, and then you give it to players, and they fucking ruin it. Same thing's true with politics. Marx had this wonderful idea, this very beautiful system, and then he gave it over to human beings, and we screwed it up. I mean, you go back through the course of human history, every single time that's what happens. You go back to Genesis. God gave us a planet and this beautiful garden, and we ruined it.
Yeah. Was it so the Bolsheviks really wrecked the communism idea, because communism was supposed to be a natural progression after whatever system that they were in. And obviously we're not going to get communism. I don't think we're going to get it. What we're going to get is a natural progression outside of, if we can get our wits about us, our moral wits about us, we have to have a natural progression out of capitalism to branch off into more things. We already have socialism with capitalism involved, but we need to actually. No, it can't happen. Communism starts on the base level before you build all these things up.
Communism is a violent overthrow of an existing system.
And that's why I say communism happens at the base level before you even get to that point.
But that's what I mean. It's a violent reaction to an existing system. If communism could be brought about peacefully and like democratically, it would work. But since it's a violent reaction to an established system, it can never happen that way.
Yeah,
and because communism without violence, without a violent overthrow of the what do they call it, class system, is not possible.
And Marx even said that
Los Jacones is a town in Mexico, I think it is. And that is a town that started off with the communist principle. They started with the communist principle, but what they did was they abandoned their other systems to come here to live under a more strict, communist ideal. So here's how I say communism could work. You could have communism as a natural progression out of a system that is not too ingrained, or you can have it as the basis of a system where you do not introduce markets. When you have markets and when you start assigning values to things, yes, that's when communism starts to get pretty bad. But before markets, communism is pretty good. And low markets, communism is possibly viable. And high markets or high market cultures, that's when communism has to become a violent overthrow, because you're breaking things down. But what happens when you break things down? The people who want a more peaceful lifestyle are probably going to die, and the more violent people are going to be the ones who come in and take up the freaking power vacuum.
Well, yeah,
and I don't think
problem.
Yes, and I don't think there's enough people who know what the frick they're doing with power. So that system will never come about, because as soon as there's a vacuum, somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing is going to become a despot, because the libertarians will come in and take over. The libertarians say, you take care of your own, you take care of what you got. And then you're like, yeah, we take care of our own. We take care of what we got. Then all of a sudden you got the big guy in the room. Oh, Mr. Marshall, he's got a couple acres up there. We can go live on his land. Yeah, we can make a road on Mr. Marshall's land. Mr. Marshall says, yes, you can go ahead and make yourself a road. Just pay me money to just, plow and take care of it. Now you're paying Mr. Marshall to use his land. Oh shit, you have yourself a despot in the libertarian ideal, because the one with the most wins.
So
and they're not going to give it up.
I would argue that the despot you just described isn't someone who doesn't know what they're doing. It's someone who knows exactly what they're doing.
And they know exactly how to take care of the. Well, I'm saying they don't know how to take care of the revolution as it is. Like, oh, your revolution is about what? I don't know about that. Your revolution is about blop. Your revolution is about me taking over. Give me your daughter.
Let's table this conversation for a different episode, because I do want to talk about this. I'm going to have a guest on at some point who is an economist who we can yell at.
Yeah, bump heads with. Nolan, give us your political affiliation, please.
Wild card.
All right. So you go wherever
I adhere to a policy of pragmatism and do the least amount of harm possible. Try to do good, but if doing good is impossible, try to do the least amount of harm.
So you go wherever the sniffing's good. Smells good.
I don't, unfortunately, I don't agree with like just about any political thing that's out there,
I mean, you come
conserve what is good, work to what's better. What party represents that?
I mean, to give a highlight, your background is very tied to
the Bull Moose Party, which doesn't exist.
I guess you have more of an international outlook on things, with your European heritage being close to your current, being, which is important, because you come from a people who are screwed over by well-meaning or terribly nefarious politicians, and it proves to you that none of this is real. Most of it's actually bullshit. And you got to go where the going's good.
He's also spent considerable time in China.
He spent considerable time in China.
But let's make one thing clear. I did not exactly I lived comfortably when I was over there, but I was like, I was living in rural areas with people with very little, so
That's true. He lived in rural China, which I hear is slowly disappearing.
Yeah, it is. They have done an amazing job bringing their people up out of poverty.
Attracting them to cities.
Well, not really attracting them to cities, but bringing the cities to
them. Yeah, I've watched them do it. It's amazing.
I've seen pictures of high-rise apartment buildings just popping up in the middle of farmland as they construct a city that just expands out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I watched them do it. I've watched them do it for over. God damn, I've been going back and forth there for almost 20 years now. Oh, that's uncomfortable.
Man. There we go. We'll
Yeah.
You got the audience into it now.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this thing up. We'll put Aaron.
Wrap it up. That's how you prevent babies.
Bam.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? My name is Lord Links. I go by Lord Links everywhere you need me to be. On Twitter, Twitch, Discord, Instagram, Snapchat, Fiverr, PayPal, anywhere you wish me to be.
You made some of those up.
No, right. It sounds kind of made up, right? But the idea is, my political beliefs are more along the lines of there has got to be something better. But the problem is there's a lot. It's complex. That's what it's called. It's complex. Everybody wants to be comfortable, but some people just don't know what the hell they're doing. I believe in strength. I believe in kindness. I believe in the fist. I believe in the open hand. I believe in everything and anything that needs to be done, because people are so, I wouldn't say malleable. I would say more like water. They flow. It's the churn. and you have to learn how to guide water. You have to learn how to guide the flow.
98% water.
I'm going to guide the flow with an open hand slap across Tim's belly. All right, just.
I can do the nap. No.
But yeah, that's me. Hi, you love me, you know me. You might not love me, you might not know me, but please get to know me. I stream every single day on twitch.tv/LordLinks. I streamed 2,033 days in a row so far. 2,033 days I've streamed every single day, and you better believe there was some dark days and some good days, but always a day that I come back to see you. That's right, you.
Governments have risen and fallen in fewer days.
Governments have risen and fallen.
7 years?
Actually happened. I've streamed every day since 2015, so we're coming up on year 6 in October, and I've been a streamer since 2013. Back in those wonderful days. So yeah, tried, tested, proven, top quality content. Don't let my chat numbers fool you. I am black, and most people are like, you're black. I can't identify with you. Wu-Tang? And I'm like, I don't listen to them. I do, but I don't need to listen to them. You're weird. Fuck, I gotta get out of here. I'm uncomfortable. I'm kidding. We don't need to talk about this stuff right now. Anyway, Tim, help.
There you go. Is that better?
What's up?
Nolan, plug your show.
I'm Nolan. I'm always here, even when I'm not.
Against his will at this point.
Things are getting a little sluggish.
He's about to get keeped.
Yeah. That's the only thing that's keeping me here. It's just spite to not be the next Keith.
Don't be the next Keith.
I have another podcast that I do. It's called In the Nerd. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/inthenerd. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. And I'm gonna just show this is what I do with my free time. I've been working on designing and develop board games.
What?
So and that's why I've been playing with pieces all night. If anybody's wondering why I've been putzing around, that's because it's right there. It's a lot of fun to work on.
That's really cool. I'm coming over.
Yeah, we need play testers at this point. So I work for a guy in the Netherlands, and he and I, correspond over the internet, and this is what we've built. He's got all the artistic skill, and I do the nuts and bolts.
No one knows all the rules.
I know all the rules, and then I come up with more when there are rules lacking.
It's like he's a walking D&D book.
Yeah, but for board games, which isn't as cool as D&D. So I spend a lot of time by myself in front of board games. It's awesome. It's great. It's a miracle I don't drink anymore.
You do drink, right? A little bit? Responsibly? All right.
Occasionally. Let's call it occasional.
There we go. All right. So thanks for checking out this episode of Speaking from the Center. We will be back next week with a new episode. And if you want to subscribe to all of our things, there's the Facebook right there, facebook.com/Speaking from the Center.
You reminded me to post my link. Smart move, Aaron.
Here comes the Patreon. There we go, patreon.com/SFTC. Our Twitch. We stream on the Twitch. And of course, our YouTube channel, which I don't have a custom URL for yet because I don't have enough subscribers. So subscribe so I can get a custom URL.
There you go. There you go. Also, please do yourself a favor and highlight that little posty comment right there about that.
This one?
No, not that. No, I mean thank you,
this one?
But not that one. Yes, Plotis. It's a planet spread comment is all over the world. That's the game. That's how you win the game.
SWP, man. Sherman-Williams Paint. Paint the world red.
Oh wow.
SWP also could stand for the Socialist Workers Party. Who knows? Maybe Sherman-Williams Paint is just a massive communist front. Who knows?
This guy
is that why there's so many of them?
Starting to make sense, isn't it?
Wow. And on that note, I'm gonna click the button and end the show.
Are you gonna end the show right now?
I am.